Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. So I'm delighted today to be here with Vincent Stocklin. Hope I get the right pronunciation for your name for this new episode of our reflective series within the EMCC page, where we are delighted to open that space to discover more about our members and especially what drove them to become a coach. Before we move directly to that question, Vincent, do you want to give us a few a few bit and pieces about your own company? Because I could see you've been in coaching and development for more than 20 years now.
Yes. Good morning, good afternoon. Hi, everyone. I'm very pleased to be here, and I would say I'm a proud member of EMCC Switzerland. It's part of being a member of a coaching organization nowadays is so important, and that's part of who I am, in the sense that we coaches are all so different. We all come from different backgrounds, from different paths. And what makes us coaches is the idea that we can serve a community of people to take better decisions. It's exactly one of the reasons why I became a coach. But I have a wide working experience. I began my professional career in the travel and hospitality industry, and then I opened a company, an international travel company on the Trans-Siberian Railway, which I owned for 15 years for the travel from Switzerland, but all over Europe. It was one of the first online travel agency on that time. It was new at that time. It seems quite interesting to say that today. And I was also, in parallel to that, a war correspondent,
Wow.
an international reporter. And what makes is this mix of field experience, of difficult field, of complex field. And when I say difficult, it's exactly what can help people stand with a coach is when you are in a situation where there is a lot of complexity, you need a space, even if it's urgent, if you are pressured, to be able to think clearly, to take the best decision. So once I got all that experience, I decided to capitalize on some, I would say, accreditation and formation. So that's why I got a master's degree in science in psychology at East London University. I have a business technology MBA because I want to be able to speak the language of the people and the concern of the leaders I'm coaching. And I have classical, historical, and diplomatic education before, right?
Wow.
So that's
very diverse.
Yes. Well, it seems diverse.
Extremely rich by all the opening of curiosity that's bringing into the space you're creating.
Yes, I think the word curiosity is what defines me most. And coaching allow curiosity. It's an advantage to be curious with what is going on and helping people to be curious with themselves on what is going on.
Okay. So you gave us already some idea on how you work as a coach. You tell us about this fascinating part of your background. You've been a war correspondent. For your career development, were there any tipping points which told you, "Oh, that's it, I really want to be a coach full time"?
There are several of them, but one, when I decided to become a full-time coach, I'm a full-time coach right before COVID, when I decided to switch and to leave this mixed life of entrepreneurship, of journalism, war reporting, and psychology development, is when this key moment is when I understood that competence is never the problem. It's not that you need to know something more, but it's how you use what you know to take the right decision. And in the context of my own experience, and I saw that in war, in how, I would say, in journalism, we focus only on the narrative, right? Mm-hmm. So it's very interesting. We say how people think, but we describe the power, but we don't act on it. And there is the other kind of actors, which are, let's call them entrepreneurs, but they can be politicians, they can be leaders, they can be male or female. They take decisions with this narrative, and these decisions have consequences. And it's where I decided that there is a role to be, because it's not enough just to describe the narrative. It's about making sure the people that take the decision are aware of the cost of whatever decision they take. And it's when I decided to develop myself with a master in psychology to have these, I would say, clinical tools to understand what emotions do.
Okay.
Because we cannot take away the emotion of whatever. We all say we wish we could, but when we are under pressure, that emotions, they always take the advantage, in the sense that what we find as information is very often hidden. And that's one of the reasons I choose to be an emotional intelligence expert with the Roche-Martin EI, not AI, EI assessment, because it's a tool that allows everyone, especially leaders, but everyone, to understand how we react with emotion when we are under pressure, and how we can improve that for our own well-being, but also for the well-being of our team, let's say of our country, and being aware of the narrative we carry with ourselves.
Yeah. There is really a notion of, being able to act in complexity, to be able to take that lenses that allow us to see complexity. And I love the game between I was playing this morning with the game between changing one letter from AI to EI can completely change the conversations. With your experience, what for you makes a great coach?
Well, that's a question I'm asking myself a lot. And here, it's not because I'm propaganding for what I think, but a great coach is a supervised coach.
Okay.
It's a coach that takes her mental hygiene clean. And the only way is not having more competences, more certification, but it's absolutely knowing how to clean our blind spots, how to set the right boundaries with our coachee. We all come from different backgrounds, and that's where supervision is so important, because if we want to improve the professionality of our profession of coaching, we need to have a place where we ensure quality. And that's one of the few places when we can ensure the quality. It's quality check. It's not being right or wrong. It's not an assessment, but it's a place where we question our own practice with reflection, how we can become even better. So that's the first, I would say, that the first question, what makes a great coach? That's what's it. And the second, and that's my own experience, and that's what supervision helped me understand with myself, is what a great coach is: a coach that can hold complexity without rushing. And that is something that say, oh yeah, of course. But when we are a coach, we want to help. We want to bring insight. We want to deliver. Maybe we all do have egos. So I want to show you that I'm really, for the price I'm charging, I'm really competent enough, and so on. I can even be so empathetic that I will carry part of the weight you are bringing in the session. And if you don't have tools that help you navigate that complexity as a coach, then you burn out. And that's why it's all these elements of having the supervision and being aware of what you are doing is so important.
I love the focus you have, that it's not so much about competency, but more about integrating the competency, or really embodying the competency up to the point. And it's refreshing, because we're in a society when we are so invited to rush in adding, rather than just stepping and see how do we already use what we have.
It's very important, but it's a real challenge, for all, well, I'm working in the field of executive coaching, and there is not a place, well, everyone is under pressure, but these people are under tremendous pressure from all sides and beginning with themselves. So when we work with coaching, with executives of leaders, they are used to go fast, to be certain, to look convinced about what they are doing. And once they are able to create a space, it can be even half an hour, when they can just stop all that rush, it helps them getting clarity. And once they discover that, some of them really, I have the image of a woman CEO got addicted to that. But that's a place, it's like fresh water. Say, I want to have my fresh water of the week, of the month, or whatever. You have it about herself, about her own complexity, not mine, but her own.
And the addiction to that could actually let us run on a hamster wheel that we do not see. Extremely important to have this supervision when you are a coach, as you mentioned. If you were to give a tip to our audience when they want to start working with a coach, what would you think for them would be useful?
How to use how to select a coach. First, I will say how will we contract? I would say three or four things. How do we contract? What is our relationship about? How do we measure the progress? And that's the question for the coach. How do you will we measure my progress on my goal, right? And third is, what change will I see in, let's say, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, because it's about action. So we need to see something change. And fourth is, how are you supervised? Because it's a quality question that a good coach knows how to answer. There are several ways, it depends on the organization, but these four elements, if they answer, you can begin. And then, of course, you need to have a coach that doesn't flatter you, but challenges you, but that it all depends on the kind of relationship you want to have.
I love the full question, and I love the last comments. It's not about having a coach that flatters you. It could be just about someone that's challenging you. It's right that it has to be adapted to what you need, but we forget sometimes that the benefits of working with a coach is being challenged to get out of our own hamster wheel habits, if I can say that.
Yeah,
we're getting close to the end of our conversation, short interview. If you were to wrap up this session with one word or one thought for the audience, what do you want to share?
Well, I will say, because there are healthy promotion that we can do as coaches, and we all can. And as the supervisor, I'm eager to work with coaches, to work together with them, not as a judge, because you check what the EMCC standards for supervision is. It's not about assessing competency, but having a space where you can reflect and become an even better coach. But if you want depth with standards, that's where supervision enters, and data, because I love to use some psychometrics in my coaching approach that can lead to change, then that is my home territory. It's complex, and we can hold the inner conflicts, but that's where we can also move forward to very interesting positions.
Excellent. Thanks a lot, Vincent, for your time. I really appreciate. And let's see.
Thanks for the opportunity.
Yeah, you're more than welcome. It's brilliant to have you. So ciao, everyone, and we'll see when we get our next interview. Bye.